Hello dear students, welcome in today's English video lecture. Students, in previous lecture we have started our poem There is Another Sky. In previous lecture we discussed some icebreaker activities as well as the information about the poetess Emily Dickinson. We also discussed the background of the poem. Now in today's lecture we are going to start our poem. As I said, we discussed yesterday, this poem is Petrarchan poem, Petrarchan sonnet, in which we have two stanzas. First stanza consisting of 8 lines, octave, and remaining stanza, second stanza, it is of 6 lines, that is sisted. Now, let us concentrate on the first 4 lines. We are going to divide this first stanza for discussion. So, in the first stanza, first 4 lines, let us discuss those lines. There is another sky. There is another sky, ever serene and fair. And there is another sunshine, though it be darkness there. Now students, the very first line of the poem, there is another sky. This word, this expression has special meaning because all of you know that we readers are familiar with the sky. But which is the another sky that she is speaking about? Now here, another sky stands for another kind of place, atmosphere or condition. We have discussed that Emily Dickinson's brother, Austen, he was living to the other place, at the other place. And Emily Dickinson, she was trying to convince her brother to come back. So here, another sky stands for the another place. Now which place, which atmosphere, which condition? So there is another sky ever serene and fair. Serene, this word is new for you. Serene means peaceful, calm. Peaceful, अतिशय शांत, प्रसन्न, निवांत. That is serene. And fair. Fair, good, beautiful, nice. So, according to Emily, there is another place, there is another atmosphere which is very calm, peaceful, fresh, and beautiful. And there is another sunshine. Again, there is only sun, only one sun in the sky, means all of we know about the sun. But another sunshine, another, why another? Because she is talking about another place, as I said, another condition, another atmosphere. So she says there is another place which is very beautiful, which is very peaceful, which is very calm and quiet, very fresh, though it be darkness there. Now here, this word there, it indicates the place where Austen was living. So according to her, or she says, you are living there where there is darkness, where there is not so fresh and peaceful atmosphere. But here, where we are living, where we have our home, this place is really very beautiful, very calm, very peaceful, very fresh atmosphere is here. So you can come back. Now let us try to understand paraphrasing of this stanza. The starting line of the poem is a metaphor. All of you know, students, what is metaphor? Metaphor is indirect comparison. दोन गोष्टींमध्ये अप्रत्यक्षपणे तुलना केलेली असते. So here metaphor. Why? Because there is another place for you. The poetess is saying that though he, who is he? The brother, Austen, is in some other place, else place else, there is a home waiting for him. Here, the poetess tries to convince Austin, who is her brother, to come back home from Boston. Austin was living at Boston, and Emily, her home was at Amherst. So she is convincing her brother, come back home because here is very nice, serene, peaceful, calm, fair atmosphere. And so she calls that atmosphere as another sky and another sunshine. So this is the first stanza, first part of first stanza. Now next four lines of first stanza octave. Never mind faded forests, Austin. Never mind silent fields. Here is a little forest whose leaf is evergreen. Now again students, very beautiful stanza. Because see, never mind faded forests. You know faded, word faded, which is not so fresh. फेडेड एकदम सुकून गेलेलं निस्तेज झालेलं कुठलीही हिरवळ नाही सगळी झाडांची पानगळ झालेली आहे किंवा कुठेही छान फुलं नाही आहेत सुकून गेलेलं एकदम असं निकामी झालेलं फॉरेस्ट नाव हिअर फेडेड फॉरेस्ट दीज वर्ड्स इंडिकेट्स निगेटिव्ह मिनिंग so she says never mind faded forest means where you are living that place there means you are disappointed, you are nervous, and atmosphere there is very nervous, so don't mind about it, don't bother about it. Never mind silent fields. Again silent fields, here silent fields because when there is nobody to talk, when there is nobody to share anything with you, you feel so lonely, you feel alone, and so silent fields. तिथे तुझ्याशी बोलायला कोणी नाहीये, तू निराशेमध्ये आहेस, आम्हाला जाणवतं येते, किंवा तू त्या ज्या कंडिशनमध्ये आहेस, कन्फ्युजन असेल, टेन्शन असेल, वरीज असतील, नर्व्हसनेस असेल, जे काही तुझ्या मनात जे आहेत भाव सगळे, त्याबद्दल तू आता फार विचार करू नकोस. कम बॅक बिकॉज हिअर इज व्हेरी ब्युटिफुल, फ्रेश, काम अँड पीसफुल ॲटमॉस्फिअर. हिअर इज अ लिटल फॉरेस्ट whose leaf is evergreen. So here is a forest, but what kind of forest? Very fresh. Here the forest is not faded. इथे सुकून गेलेलं किंवा निस्तेज झालेलं फॉरेस्ट नाही आहे. तर इथे आता ॲक्च्युली फॉरेस्ट आहे का? तर नाही. बट हिअर दीज वर्ड्स आर युज्ड ॲज इमेजेस. लिटल फॉरेस्ट मीन्स our small home, all we family members. So here we have greenery, we have green leaves, evergreen. We are always with you, we are always there to support you, and so you come back. Let us discuss the paraphrasing of this these four lines. Here the poetess directly addresses her brother Austin and tries to encourage him by saying that never mind. As I said students, Austin, her brother, is maybe suffering from some difficulties. He is facing some problems. He is in nervous or tensed mood. And so Emily is trying to convince her brother. And so she encourages. म्हणून ती म्हणते की नेव्हर माइंड, काळजी करू नकोस, चिंता करू नकोस. Difficulties or the crisis he had faced at Boston. तो ज्या ठिकाणी राहतोय बॉस्टनला, त्या ठिकाणी तो काही अडचणींचा सामना करतोय किंवा काही प्रॉब्लेम्समध्ये आहे, तर त्याबद्दल तू फार टेन्शन घेऊ नकोस. सो नेव्हर माइंड. आणि म्हणून ती म्हणते नेव्हर माइंड. शी इज ट्राईंग टू एनकरेज हिम. फेडेड फॉरेस्ट्स अँड सायलेंट फील्ड्स स्टँड फॉर ग्लूमी अँड नर्व्हस ॲटमॉस्फिअर ॲट द प्लेस वेअर ऑस्टिन लिव्ड. As I said, faded forests and silent fields. These words have negative sense, negative meaning, because सुकून गेलेलं फॉरेस्ट किंवा निस्तेज झालेलं फॉरेस्ट जिथे आपल्याला जायला नाही आवडणार, किंवा खूप शांतता असेल, अतिशय शांतता, नीरव शांतता, अ, तर ते ठिकाण पण आपल्याला शक्यतो नाही आवडत. आपल्याला शेअरिंग आवडतं, आपल्या मनातल्या भावना दुसऱ्यांना सांगायला आवडतात किंवा सांगितल्या पाहिजेत. तर मग अशा वेळेला ऑल दीज टू ऑल मीन्स दीज टू वर्ड्स फेडेड फॉरेस्ट अँड सायलेंट फील्ड्स दे आर निगेटिव्ह मिनिंग हिअर. आणि म्हणून ती म्हणते की डोंट लिव्ह देअर, अशा वातावरणात तू थांबू नकोस. ग्लुमी अँड नर्व्हस ॲटमॉस्फिअर, ते कसं ॲटमॉस्फिअर ग्लुमी म्हणजे कसं एकदम निस्तेज किंवा निराशा आणणारं असं वातावरण, नर्व्हस करणारं वातावरण. तर तू अशा ठिकाणी नको थांबूस, तू आता इकडे ये, आपल्या घरी ये, सो दॅट वी विल लिव्ह टुगेदर अँड यू विल नॉट फील अलोन. So the poetess advises her brother not to mind the atmosphere that creates nervousness and depression. She invites her brother at home where everything is positive and hopeful. Little forest having evergreen leaves stands for positivity around the home at um, Amherst. So their place, their home. सो एव्हरग्रीन लिव्ज हा शब्द काय इंडिकेट करतो? इट स्टँड्स फॉर पॉझिटिव्हिटी अराउंड द होम. आपल्या घराच्या भोवती जेव्हा गार्डन नसतं छान, तेव्हा आपल्यालाच खूप छान वाटतं, फ्रेश वाटतं. आता इथे ॲक्च्युली फॉरेस्ट म्हणजे फॉरेस्ट नाही, बट द स्मॉल गार्डन दॅट दे हॅव. So this is the first stanza, octave. In first part, she has tried to convince her brother and she has tried to encourage her brother. Now let us discuss the sistate, the remaining 6 lines, next stanza. Here is a brighter garden. Now here means where? Where Emily is living. So, here is a brighter garden where not a frost has been in its unfading flowers. Now, try to understand the concept. Here is a brighter garden. So, she says, here at our home we have brighter garden. Brighter, fresh, very beautiful, fresh garden where not a frost. Frost when temperature is below 0 degrees Celsius, a thin layer of ice forms on the ground and other surfaces. जेव्हा पाण्याचं पाणी गोठलं जातं आणि जेव्हा ते 0 डिग्री सेल्सिअसच्या खाली जातं निगेटिव्हकडे, तेव्हा ह्या सगळ्या आता इमिली इज फ्रॉम अमेरिका. आता ह्या थंड प्रदेशांमध्ये जेव्हा थंडी असते तेव्हा मात्र सगळीकडे बर्फ साठतं आणि जमिनीवरती असेल, रस्त्यांवरती, घरांवरती, ज्या ज्या ठिकाणी उघडे सरफेस आहेत त्या ठिकाणी सगळ्या बर्फ साठतं. आणि ते बर्फ साठल्यामुळे कधी कधी काय होतं, हे बर्फ साठल्यामुळे झाडं किंवा छोटी छोटी रोपं असतील तर हे सगळे चांगल्या प्रकारे उगवत नाही, ते सुकून जातात कारण त्यांना सूर्यप्रकाश मिळत नाही. आता ही जी कडाक्याची थंडी आहे याला त्यांनी फ्रॉस्ट म्हटलेलं आहे. सो हिअर नॉट अ फ्रॉस्ट हॅज बीन इन इट्स अनफेडिंग फ्लॉवर्स. आता इथे फ्रॉस्ट हा शब्द जो आहे तो अगेन हॅज निगेटिव्ह सेन्स, निगेटिव्ह मिनिंग. So she says, here at our place there is no frost, there is no negativity. You come here and you will enjoy this place and you will feel positive. And where has where not a frost has been in its unfading flowers. You know, fading सुकून जाणे, unfading न सुकणे, fresh टवटवीत. So fresh flowers. So here we have very fresh beautiful garden and here we don't have frost. So indirectly she wants to say that here is no negativity. Now try to understand the paraphrasing of these 3 lines. The poetess further encourages her brother to come back home where everything is bright, shiny and happy. She compares the home to brighter garden where there has been no frost ever and the flowers in the garden are unfading. The frost suggests gloomy atmosphere at Boston, but back at home everything is hopeful and happy. So again, let us discuss the same thing, that where Austin is living, that place Boston, it is very gloomy, nervousness is there, and you are alone. So come back, you will not feel alone. because here we have fresh garden. Fresh garden indicates positivity. Here we have positive atmosphere. We all are here to support you. So come back. Now the last three lines. I hear the bright bee hum. Prithi, my brother, into my garden come. Now let us discuss these words. I hear the bright bee hum. You know, bee, honey bee. Hum टू सिंग अ सॉन्ग. ही जी मधमाशी असते ती छान गाणं गुणगुणते किंवा तिच्या ज्या पंखांचा जो आवाज असतो तो त्या हमिंग, त्याला म्हणतात हमिंग, तो आवाज. सो ब्राईट बी हम. प्रिथी 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 इट इज ॲक्च्युली निकनेम ऑफ हर ब्रदर ऑस्टिन. ऑस्टिनचं हे निकनेम आहे किंवा एक टोपण नाव आहे प्रिथी. पण त्याचबरोबर इन ओल्ड इंग्लिश प्रिथी मीन्स आय रिक्वेस्ट यू. So here maybe she wants to call her brother by his nickname, or maybe she wants to say I request you, my brother, into my garden come. Into my garden. Now this line is very important and very means having very important meaning. Let us discuss these three lines here. The poetess lovingly calls her brother by his nickname, Prithi. She describes the musical humming sound of bee, which indicates the happiness around. तो जो काही त्या मधमाशींच्या उडण्याचा किंवा तो गुंजारव आहे, तो छान आवाज जो आहे मधमाशीच्या पंखांचा किंवा तिच्या गुणगुणण्याचा, तर हा शब्द जो आहे तो इथे पॉझिटिव्हिटी इंडिकेट करतो, हॅपीनेस इंडिकेट करतो. सो शी सेज दॅट हिअर वी हॅव bright bee hum. So you come here. You will enjoy this. You will feel happy. And she welcomes her brother to sweet home. आणि म्हणून ती म्हणते come back. आता शेवटची जी लाईन आहे, the last word, my garden, give another turn to the poem, entire poem. काय म्हटली शेवटची ओळ? In my brother, Prithi, my brother, into my garden come. So she is requesting her brother actually that you come here at our sweet home. The last word, my garden, is another turn to the entire poem, which is a special feature of Dickinson's poems. Here the phrase my garden stands for her poetry. आता इथे जरी म्हटलं my garden, तरी हा my garden शब्द दोन प्रकारे आपण घेऊ शकतो. एक तर maybe she is calling her brother at her home, or another meaning, maybe she is trying to convince her brother to read her poems. म्हणून म्हटलं असेल की my garden. The phrase my garden stands for her poetry. She asks her brother to enjoy her poetic world where everything is positive, hopeful and bright. All of you know that most of the poems gives us energy. They gives us hope. They gives us positive energy. They gives us energy to go ahead. Many poems encourages us. So here she says that you come in the world of poetry. You enjoy the world of poetry where I am also. कारण आता ही सुद्धा एक कवयित्रीच आहे आणि ती काय म्हणते की तू जर कविता वाचल्यास तर तुला पण छान वाटेल, पॉझिटिव्हिटी तुझ्यात येईल किंवा तुला हे सगळं जग छान वाटेल. She assures him that he will enjoy the bright atmosphere through her poetry, which has celestial and spiritual quality. According to Emily, poetry is uh, uh, is divine quality or celestial and spiritual quality. कविता जी असते ती दैवी असते किंवा तिला एक दैवी टच असतो. आता तुम्ही विचार करा की कोणत्याही कवीनं जेव्हा ती कविता तो तयार करतो तेव्हा त्याला ती सुचलेली असते. सो इट इज ॲक्च्युली अ गॉड गिफ्ट to write a poem or to compose a poem. It is a skill. So it is actually a God gift. So you come here in this world of poetry. I'm sure you will enjoy this world. I'm sure you will feel positive. So like this way, she tries to convince her brother and she encourages her brother. So I hope you might have understood these two stanzas, octave and systate. Now students, all of you know that for our exam, we have figures of speech, poetic devices, which are very important. Now let us discuss the figures of speech which are there in this poem. So first is metaphor. All of you know that metaphor is indirect comparison. So what is the example of metaphor in our poem? See, there is another sky. Here, home or place is indirectly compared to the sky. तसंच मग खाली another sunshine, there is another sunshine. This is also example of metaphor, because another sky and another sunshine are compared with the another place, home, and so it is indirect comparison. अप्रत्यक्ष तुलना केलेली आहे. दुसरं फिगर ऑफ स्पीच आहे हायपरबोल. नाउ ऑल ऑफ यू नो हायपरबोल, एक्झॅगरेटेड स्टेटमेंट, अतिशयोक्ती केलेली असते. फॉर एक्झाम्पल, इन इट्स unfading flowers. Unfading flowers, all of you know that flowers means they are not always fresh. They cannot remain always fresh. कुठलंही फूल घेतलं तरी ते कधी ना कधी सुकणारच असतं. पण इथे काय म्हटलंय, अनफेडिंग, कधीही न सुकणारं फ्लॉवर. सो इट इज एक्झॅगरेशन, हायपरबोल, अतिशयोक्ती केलेली आहे. हुज लीफ इज एव्हरग्रीन, असं कुठल्याच झाडाचं पान नाही की जे पूर्ण कायमस्वरूपी हिरवं राहू शकतं. So it is again hyperbole. Next figure of speech is repetition. All of you know repetition means repetition of word or line. There is another sky, there is another sunshine, never mind, here. All these are the words repeated in the poem. Next figure of speech, which is maybe new for you, that is onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia. What is onomatopoeia? Words representing the sound. जे शब्द आवाजाशी संबंधित आहेत, जे शब्द उच्चारल्यावरती आपल्याला आवाजाचा सेन्स होतो किंवा आवाज आठवतो, तेव्हा आपल्याला दॅट फिगर ऑफ स्पीच इज कॉल्ड ॲज ओनोमॅटोपोइया. फॉर एक्झाम्पल, क्लॅप. क्लॅप क्लॅप म्हटलं की आपल्याला टाळ्यांचा आवाज आठवतो. दॅट इज ओनोमॅटोपोइया, वर्ड इंडिकेटिंग साऊंड. फॉर एक्झाम्पल, व्हिसल. व्हिसल, शिट्टी वाजवणे, आवाज आपल्याला माहिती आहे काय असतो आवाज तो. सो ओनोमॅटोपोइया. In the poem, bright bee hum, bright bee hum, humming sound, hum. So it is onomatopoeia. Hum जो शब्द आहे तो इंडिकेट करतो आवाज, गुंजारव म्हणतो आपण त्याला. नेक्स्ट एक्झाम्पल ऑफ फिगर ऑफ स्पीच इज inversion. Now try to understand the inversion. When word order is changed in the line, फिगर ऑफ स्पीच इज इन्व्हर्जन. वाक्यामध्ये किंवा लाईनमध्ये जेव्हा आपल्या नेहमीप्रमाणे सब्जेक्ट, व्हर्ब, ऑब्जेक्ट अशी रचना न येता ती बदललेली असते, तशी त्याला म्हणायचं इन्व्हर्जन. इन टू माय गार्डन कम. आता ॲक्च्युली हे वाक्य कसं हवं आहे, ही लाईन कशी हवी आहे, कम इन टू माय गार्डन, पण ती काय म्हणते, इन टू माय गार्डन कम. सो दिस इज इन्व्हर्जन, वाक्यरचना बदललेली आहे, चेंज इन वर्ड ऑर्डर. सो दिस इज इन्व्हर्जन, एक्झाम्पल ऑफ इन्व्हर्जन. Then last figure of speech which is there in the poem, that is alliteration, repetition of consonant sound. Faded forest, f sound is repeated. Bright bee hum, b sound is repeated. So when sound is repeated, consonant sound is repeated, that figure of speech is alliteration. So these were the figures of speech and the poem. I hope you might have enjoyed the poem. Very short, very beautiful poem. If possible, please read the poem again and please try to understand it again. Thank you very much.